Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I'm working on this bow and arrow. Playfield's already stripped. Haven't done anything mechanically to it other than stripping this. Jane was working on painting. There was a bunch of bare playfield here down the wood and some more up here. She's been matching colors. Still got to do something with this ball trail, but it's looking a lot better. But what I'm gonna leave her with that, and I am gonna focus on the guts of this baby. So let me see my notes here. Got written down the coin unit is suspect, flippers are weak, and the pop's not at all working well. So yeah, I think it's probably the coin unit is not working very good. So anyway, I'm gonna start like I normally do. Let's check out the plug on this thing. It's got 3 prongs. That's a good start. All right, so that's halfway decent. We got a transformer's grounded. So let's look at you. Oh, nice. So somebody's done. I guess that's a pretty reasonable way to fix it. That prong there is busted, so they just put this fuse holder in here. I bet so. This other one, yeah, that one, yeah, that one's done. I'm not even pushing very hard. Yeah. If you got one bent over like that, the other ones are just like. And that one's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just swap out all 4 of those. We can gamble again and see if we think any of these, or some of them are probably right. I'll bet money 1 or more of them are refused. Anybody want to take my money on that one? I'm going to pull these out here. I'm going to do this off camera just because I need both hands, especially for that one in that yellow fuse holder. So we got my 4 fuses here, and we should have a 15, a 15, a 10, I think that's an 8, yeah. I'm gonna get over here on the desk where I got some better light so I can see. Okay, here's the first one. It's 15 amp, okay. So far so good. And that's the wrong side. Another 15. It's all looking good. Uh-oh, we got another 15. Up. Fail. And another 15. They're all 15s. Okay. Well, we'll swap those out and put in a new fuse holder and see this. I talked about this in the last video versus these American made fuse Bussman American ones. Those are, I bet those are Bussman. I think I saw one of them said Bussman on it. But anyway, those are high quality fuses. And that one there is also a 15 amp, and it's junk. Sometimes you can just, let me put my phone down for a second. So I busted that one open just so you can see inside, and this one's actually not so bad. So that little wire is actually soldered at the end of the cap. I have seen some of these where the little wire is folded over the end of the glass, and it's just, that cap is just squeezed up against it, and those are total junk. So this one is actually not that bad. But when I see the little thin wire in there, some of them are horrible and it's hard to distinguish them, so I just don't trust them. I soldered them facing down, so when it's in there, you get a nice ball of solder to lay your wires into. Okay, so I'll unscrew this. And I always leave them screwed in first because obviously I'm yanking those wires to get them out, so it's nice to have them still mounted down. And it's always good to take a picture of the wires so you make sure they go back in the same place. That's a good way to mess some things up real bad, real fast. And I'm gonna have to clean up all these shards of solder. So we need a 15, 15, 10, 8. Let's see what we got over here. 15, 15. I'll just put these in so I don't get them mixed up. And then a 10 and an 8. And an 8. Oh, that's a crappy looking one. There's a 10. Got to set y'all down again. All right, so all those primary fuses are done, so we'll look around and see if we've got any more on the playfield. I see one already. Let me raise this up. Hold on for the ride. Just a second. Sorry about that. Okay. We'll just scan here and see what we see. I saw one at the top. It's running that rectifier, so I get a little tool to get that out. So it should be a 5 amp. What do y'all think? Is it going to be a 5 amp? It does not look like. Oh, it is a 5 amp. I'm pulling on them, see if it's one of those that are just folded over. It's not. It is a really crappy one. I'm gonna just chunk it anyway. I hate them. I'm gonna get one that I got from Steve. Total ones I got from Steve because they're all in the little baggies. All my good stuff comes in baggies from Steve. Now look at this sucker. It's all like, look at that. It's probably older than I am, but maybe not. I know Steve has a lot of new old stock, but I'd greatly rather have one of these than anything I might buy off eBay or something like that. Okay, so I think I've got all the fuses. So we should have good power getting delivered from the fuse blocks. I guess that's what we can say now. So like always, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and check all these, and pretty filthy. Seen worse, but they definitely need cleaning. But these are probably not so bad that I can't just clean them with a little bit of Scotch-Brite, which goes pretty quickly. So I'm gonna pull out, and I'll clean one of them on camera, and then I'll do all the rest of them. I'm just gonna check a few more back here. Usually these are a little cleaner because they're just not in such a filthy environment at the bottom of the cabinet. And these are indeed, these are not actually too bad at all. And that's all there are. It's always funny to me, these single plugs, no matter what, the ones with one plug on them, they're always clean. Even a game that's really dirty, if you got two of them next to each other, like only two on a plug, they'll be nasty. But if you've got the single ones, they're not. So I guess it's some kind of galvanic corrosion. I don't know. But that's always strange to me. Reach back here. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. Yeah, I guess you can. This is kind of a good way for me to see what I'm doing. I use the camera to, so I can't really see with my eyeball, but I can see with the camera. So in this era valley, it's the outside of the pin and the well, let's see it better here. Well, the outside and the inside of the pin. So it's basically that surface there, that outside, and all 6 of those surfaces on the inside along that axis. So that's really where you focus on cleaning, and that's not the case for all EMs, but that's the case for this one. So this outer edge is pretty easy. It goes pretty quick with the Scotch-Brite. There's lots of other ways to do it. Some people use sandpaper. I don't usually use sandpaper. A lot of times I will use a wire wheel on a Dremel if they're really bad. It's a little bit more aggressive. Tends to kind of take the silver plating off though, so I don't like to do that unless I have to. This is a little bit less aggressive, and then you get in the middle. And you can scrub the middle. This is a little bit harder, but you can do a pretty good job. Once your Scotch-Brite gets kind of frayed, it tends to snag more, so it's good to have a kind of fresh piece, and I just fold it over one time, and that works pretty well. I don't know how well you can see, but it's pretty dang clean. So I've got all the Jones plugs cleaned up. I'm looking in the bottom of I've got the playfield out of this thing, obviously. Looking down the bottom, I'm just going to go through and clean up the units down the bottom before I put the playfield in and plug the, oh my gosh, there's a nice spring. Well, that's yeah, I always vacuum these things out, but it's always good to, while you get the playfield out, it's like, especially these metal parts, and just nuts, and I keep like that nut right there. That's like a size 8 nut. It goes right there. That's all. Basically, this whole thing been populated from the bottom of cabinets. It's all the nuts and bolts you'll ever need to work on a cabinet, I believe. Because all the good ones fall to the bottom. I know that. You probably worked on some. You know that they go to the bottom too. Like this one here. This is a ball count unit. It's always good to just, let me get my fingers on here, step them up, and it goes back. So that one doesn't step back, it just goes all the way back. So it's good to see if it'll step back easily, even if you've only gone one step. And it does. Those rivets, let me get my light here on the side. Kind of dirty. This one, to take that off, you got to first take the whole assembly out because the score motor's in the way, so you can't get to that screw right there. I may just clean, like I do sometimes, just clean the sections at a time and then rotate it and clean some more, because it's actually working fine now. I just want to clean it a little bit more. And then here, this is the one that the owner reported. Well, he didn't say this wasn't working, but this is one suspect of why it wouldn't. He said, I guess I wrote down suspect coining it. I don't remember exactly what he said, so it wasn't. I don't know if it wasn't playing a two-player multiplayer or what was the exact symptom. But this thing will move it moves freely. Sounds awful. It's a metal screeching. It's not lubricated at all, and there's a little bit of green corrosion on there. So this thing definitely needs to take it apart, but fortunately I can get a little short stubby screwdriver in there and get that off pretty easily. Scrub those surfaces and lubricate it. And then this unit, there's also this motor unit. Not exactly, so this is some feature of the game. This motor runs, and it's got a little solenoid here that basically acts as a brake. When it releases, it stops it immediately. So you're probably shooting at something. I haven't played this game forever, so I guess it just stops it right when you. I'm guessing it wants to stop it quick, so probably a shot. It's pretty filthy, and there's no way to clean that without pulling it off, so it's going to have to come off also. So, yep, gonna have to get all three of these cleaned up. I used to use super lube on these until I started using PBR grease, and I actually like this stuff a lot better. If you look on the ingredients, it's got deoxit mixed in there. This is a special brew from Steve. Had this stuff special. I don't know if he designed it or anyway, he contracted out and had this stuff made after this stuff that he used to have, they stopped making it, and he sells it, and it's a little dab will do you for sure. It goes a long ways, and it is super slick. Okay, there's one down. You know what? Well, I guess I was going to say I need to mark it, but I think it's pretty obvious I got the 2 right there, so that'll be easy to put back. But if you're taking these songs, as a general rule, it's good to get a magic marker and just mark them so you don't put them in there backwards, because generally these things will go in 2 different ways. You gotta be careful about pushing it out the other side, and you'll knock the little tooth off, and it'll go and unwind your spring, and then you get a mess. So. Yeah, these are pretty nasty. There's lots of ways to shine these up. I've done this. You can use some real fine sandpaper. You can use some light polish and a rag. You do like the alcohol. It really cuts the old crud and grease. And it also dries up real fast, so if you're working and you want to get things moving again, it'll get a few minutes. Y'all can't see the gunk coming off the bottom of this. The liquid that's draining off the bottom is just like gray black. It's nasty. And also all the grain is gone. It looks much better. It's also a good idea to just freshen these up a little bit. And my Scotch-Brite is still wet with the alcohol, kind of helps. You want to see that? How they're not, some of these are kind of bowed up. Just make sure they're all down. You want to have a little bit of pressure. Oops, that's probably too much. If you see one that's not like the others, no way, no. Okay. Put a little lube on here. And if it's still wet from the alcohol, it really spreads thin, because the alcohol kind of dilutes it, and then ultimately it'll dry up again. But it, like, you can really put on a thin layer. See, there's two ways you can put this thing on there. So gotta pay attention to them. So when you put it on, hold the back side so you don't jam it off the back. I almost did just then. All right. And you know, as you can also kind of, like those two, as I push it on there, you see that I've got tension on them, and I have almost no tension on, you can't see it, but this whole bank here, they're not touching until I get on there, so they're not bent enough. I'm gonna bend them a little bit more. You can maybe see that these are just not bent very much. They're barely touching. I'm gonna bend them down a little bit more. That could be, I'm gonna bend these a little bit more too. It's moving very easily, so I'm gonna just make those a little firmer. So now it's engaging there. All those, you can't see it, but they're engaged now, and I got a little bit more. So, and I didn't before. They were just barely touching, so that could have been the problem. By the way, the best problems you fix are you fix them, you don't even know when you fixed them. You're just going through and doing just kind of maintenance. It's much easier than digging out the schematics and trying to figure out say, oh, well, we're losing continuity somewhere. Where is it? And there's like 15 switches it could be, and this would be one of them. And then tracking them all down. Just better to, you know, go through this stuff, and when you see something like that, just fix it. And you know, it might fix it, it might not. You know, it might have been working, but who knows? Now we know it should be working. Now this one could be fun. I'm hoping this whole thing doesn't blow apart. A bunch of springs or something. Okay, if I get a screwdriver in there. Oh, there we go. Okay. This whole thing is, I don't know if you can see that, there's that spring there, so it's going to want to pop off. There it goes. Okay. Wow, that looks like a spring, a shooter spring almost. I'm going to get a magnet. Put all my parts in a, oh geez, yeah, lots of parts. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep these in order so I can get them back in the same order. There he goes. Wow, it was stuck. Okay, so that goes. That thing came off too. I think that goes underneath, so it goes like that and then that. Oh, they're in there. So these are like leather. So there's a leather clutch inside of there. So I am going to just clean this real quick. By the way, you shouldn't ever need, as a general rule, you shouldn't need lubrication on teeth like this. I don't know if that's dirt or rust or what, but I'm just going to clean these fingers real quick. Just scrub these a little bit. If it's oily nastiness, I'll get it off. I think it's actually just rust. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside intact. Okay, so now we can clean all that nonsense. There. I have no idea if this thing was working. I assume it was. I didn't hear otherwise, but it was pretty filthy. And now we just got to put everything back together. And this thing actually has, I think you can see that. Yeah, it's got a key in it right there. So it only goes one way. There we go. Wow, that went on a lot easier when it came off. It's a good sign. You know, while I've got this apart, I could probably, got these leather discs. I've got some neat's foot oil. It's a perfect thing to put on there. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get some neat's foot oil and kind of rejuvenate this leather pad here. So here's what I'm talking about. You can buy this pretty cheap. This is the smallest version you can buy because if you're working on pinballs, you don't need much. Neat's foot oil. It's made to, what does it say? Uniform oil perfect for reconditioning leather. Okay, well, I want to recondition this 40-something-year-old leather clutch. So I'm going to put a little on there. Maybe I'll put it on the other side too. Anyway, maybe it'll last another 40 years. Makes me want to say a happy little leather clutch. So this thing's got a key, so it only goes in one way. I don't know if y'all can see that very well. Yeah, there's a slot there. It's got to fit in there. And this little thin, like, phenolic washer. And there's this little thing. It's got another little key. And then the spring. And wow, it's got a lot of pressure on it. This is going to be fun to get this started. So I'm just going to throw this back up in the game. Mostly just so I can work on, oh, there's probably something, spinner or something like that. Yeah, that's a spinner unit, and this is probably a bonus, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's a bonus unit. I'll go through those, but I'll probably see that for tomorrow. It's about 5 o'clock. I'm about to head out of here. I don't even know where Django's at. Django, where you? Yeah, he's doing nothing. Django, you ready to go home? He says, heck yeah, let's go. All right, you ready to go? You ready to go squirrel hunting? All right, so it's next morning for me, and I've got a couple more units I'm going to do here on the playfield. I'm going to start with this bonus unit, and it's actually, if I operate it here, it's all the way one way. It's moving pretty nicely. These rivets are a little dirty. Someone cleaned them up, and yeah, just touching them, they're kind of tacky, just old grease or whatever. So I don't know if I'll take that off. I think I could probably get it without taking that off. Just a matter of preference, whatever you want to do. There's also a whole big stack of switches. So, like all these switches, they need to open and close when they're, you go one way. Okay, I'm all the way one way. Okay, so this bottom stack, they should, all three of those bottom ones should close. That top one there is just barely. Yeah, it's engaged. It just barely. I'm gonna get a screwdriver or something. Maybe I'll see, maybe I'll just finger here. Zoom y'all in a little bit. Myself too. I'm actually using my camera here to do this. It's kind of nice having a viewfinder. See, I went too far. It's closed all the time. There, that's good. Now you can clearly see that top of the three. They're all moving. Okay, so now got to go all the way around the other way. There's gonna be another little tab pinned down here. There it is. And so you got the top, that one's closed, that one's closed, and looks like there's another make or break there. So one more. Oh, it's just a closed and a make or break. That's my dog Django. He's crying for some reason or another. Probably somebody walked around and picked him up. He wants to go talk to him. See that top one? It's not actually opening. It's not. So that's a problem there. It looks closed. If I touch it, if it's open, it's just there. It needs a little bit more. That's solidly closed like it should be. See, I don't have any idea what that switch is doing right here at the moment, but what I do know is those switches need to open and close. And that one there, it's a make or break. So it's closed there, and that should open. The other one that's open should close when I go back the other way. And it is. Okay, so the switches are good. So only thing left I need to do, I'm just gonna get a little alcohol and clean this off real quick, and then put some PBR grease on there in real quick order. Dab it clean, dry a little bit here, and put a little PBR grease on there. And if you miss a little tiny bit, it's probably going to be all right because it's going to smear down. And we'll try to get most of it here. All right, so that one's good. And now we're going to move up and let's work on this dude. Get y'all in focus. So this one, it's a spinner unit. So this one's going to have to come apart, and so looks, there's nothing on the back side, I don't think. No. So it all comes off of this side. So you can kind of look at how this thing comes apart. A lot of these, so that pult's just going to have to mainly hold it. Usually that's going to have to go up. And oftentimes there's like one spot on this wheel that's not. See, there's a notch right there. You pull it around here. There's that notch there. I think that's where it's going to need to be. See, right there. It's like that. Then this thing will come out. So I'm going to throw this pin across the floor. I got it. And my end. There we go. Okay. So I may just throw that in the ultrasonic, got it out, just throw it in the ultrasonic real quick, and be the easiest way to clean that up. Wipe a little of that residual off. Didn't pay attention. I'm guessing that switch goes inside of there, but I'll have to go back and look at the video. Getting this on there is this little notch there. It needs to be in this orientation. At least it helps anyway to get this on. And so this, oh, that spring came off. Fun. That's okay. This pawl here needs to come on. I'm going to go ahead and put the spring on. So unfortunately, the video that I recorded, or I didn't record, of that spinner unit before I took it apart, it evaporated off my device, so it's gone. I found the schematics, and this is the spinner unit disc. You always find these units because they usually have a dashed line, so this, you know, the pointer can be, the little wiper blade could be on either one of these. But these are just going to the lights on the playfield, and this only exists on the light. So somewhere else there is a switch for that spinner unit on the schematics, but good luck finding that switch, because it's, I don't know, it might be, I might try to, if I was just going to guess, I'd guess it's probably like a I don't know, free game or free ball or something like that, something kind of a randomized deal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to assume it's just once out of the 10 lights, or how many there are, about 10 or so.
and I'm going to go with that for now. And if I need to change it, I'm going to change it later. I'll see once I get the game up and going, see if it makes sense. So I've got this switch here set so that it engages on one position every time around, and I think that's probably what it is. See, that's that middle position. There's the other one, last one. And it's closed, and then it goes way out, and then it comes back. So this is basically the same mechanism as in a coil reel, score reel. So anyway, so that's good to go for now. And if we if that doesn't make sense, I'll once I get the playfield up and running, I'll advance this thing and see what it actually runs to. I can track it down for the schematics, but it's going to be a pain to find that switch on there. So we got 2 more units in the back box. I believe this is probably not labeled, but I think it's player unit. That'd be player 1, 2, 3, 4. Reset. Okay, so that's that. And then this is the 0 through 90 unit, aka the match unit. It's got 2 sets of plates. One's for the lights and one's for the logic to actually give you the match. And this one doesn't have a switch, so it's just about taking these off and cleaning the contacts on both sides of these surface on the inside. So same mechanism as the one we just went through. I'm gonna get a little stubby. This will be hard to clean between because there's so many spots. I'm gonna get a little stubby screwdriver and take this off. There's a switch stacked in the back here y'all can't see, and I really can't see it from here. I'm gonna have to pull this whole unit off just to check and make sure that those switches are making contact. Actually, by taking this thing off first, I won't have as much. It'll make it a lot easier getting this off. Long screw. Okay. All right. I'm gonna check this. I think y'all can see that there. Yeah. Okay. So they're both closed and they're both open. So I didn't need to do that, but it's now I'm ruled out any problems. Okay. And this thing starts with the little slinky on the downside. Slinky. I don't see slinkies much anymore. Thing's actually not that dirty, but try to do this without breaking solder joints and okay, let me get some alcohol and a scrubber and we'll go to town on this. Okay, I'll do one more of this last one. We've already done it once, so I'm gonna put this one on super fast. Well, that was a bear and a half to get done. If that was frustrating y'all to watch, imagine how I felt. I got it halfway taken apart and all the rest of it just came apart too. There's another unit in here, the credit unit. I'm gonna not mess with that for now. Just as soon as things working. By the way, somebody has like put grease on this nylon gear up here. Don't ever need to put grease on those nylon gears. That's not, you're wasting your time, and it just another place to attract dirt. So don't ever do that. So I've gone through all the units that are going to make it work. We can see if this thing is on free play or not. That's the end of the credit. I go this way. I'm approaching 0 right here. And there. Well, that's probably the light, and that's probably, no, it's open. So it is, heck, it might have the coin switches working in it. I don't know. We'll give it some credits. Let's plug it in and see what happens. All right, see what goes on here. All right, that seemed right. And we got credits, or we got scores on all the score reels. The matches is showing. Oh, I heard a ding. So you all saw that when I turned it off, 10 point went up. So the 10 point, so one of the 10 point switches is engaged. Could be as simple as a spinner here. I'm gonna just look real quick. Real easy to see them from the top. It might be that spinner. Let me just. Wait for you. Well, it's not that. It's hitting that 10 point. Yeah, don't leave that too long. Well, I'm gonna run around here and see if I can find that 10 point switch. Oh, I bet it's one of these rollovers. What do you want to bet? I'll check those out. I'll come back here in a second. So this is under the playfield, that left rollover. Well, no, I thought that was it. I think it's actually clear. Yeah, that one is. And that one is too. Well, I'm gonna have to dig a little. I'm gonna have to dig a little further. Yeah, y'all couldn't see that one. Is it filming very well? So that's not it either. Well, digging further. Okay, I figured what it out. If you might already see what it is, it's the 10 point switch on the pop bumpers. I've got the top pop bumpers disassembled because Jane was working on playfield, and basically that switch is supposed to be normally open when the pop bumper assembly is put together. So there's 4 of them. And I went through the first time, I didn't even see this one here. Just saw those 3. I was like, well, that wasn't it. And I looked some more, and then I was like, oh, look at the top. I was like, I got 4 pop bumpers, so I put another one in there, and that was it. So I got the game. It's booted in the game. So I'm going to go through and just kind of flip some switches and see what's working, what's not working. So I'm just going to start 500 in advanced bonus. Didn't see where our bonus was at. Oh, there's our bonus there. So it's advancing. Okay, 1,000. 500 advanced bonus. And 1,000. Light pop bumpers. We're not going to be able to see that happen, but are those lights extinguishing? And that one's already dead, I think, there. Okay. Let's collect our bonus here. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So that was 7. Okay. And I guess it doesn't take it away. It just keeps it there. Rollovers. So that was on 5. So we got 5. Oh, good game. We're already matching or free credit. 10 10-point switches are working now. Oh, our spinner, okay.
Oh, I see. Something's locking on. I'm not sure what that is.
It may be the spin. I think probably that little, the little lanyard or whatever I'm holding on to is sliding through and touching the other side of the switch and locking it on. So that's working nicely. That's what this does. Extra ball. I've got the extra ball. We'll take the. Okay, now we're counting down the runners. I'm not sure if we counted on 2. It went 3 to 1. Did it? I'm not sure. Let's run it up again. Okay, so let's count it. I'm going to press the out hole here and we'll count it down. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we still don't know what that switch does for the spinner. The one that I wasn't sure was it does it 1 out of 10 times right now. I guess I gotta lift the playfield up and just manually close it, but let's see if we can see something. I'm just scanning the whole playfield. Oh, I see what it is. Once you get up to the 10th, it runs the bonus collect, so you get another bonus. So that's probably what they switched for, and that makes total sense, so I'm comfortable with that. Otherwise, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the last 5 would be bonus, 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 and that doesn't make any sense at all. So, for sure. And now that I know what it does, I can go back in the schematics and I can find it. I could look at if I went to go to the schematics. Well, let's just do that. It'll be a good exercise. So I've got the schematics here on my computer, and what we're looking for is we want the bonus unit step up because it's that bonus unit. So there's several things. At least there's going to be a relay for the step up, and there's probably a relay for the step down. But we want the actual solenoid on the unit, and we want the one that steps up. So we want the bonus hole, bonus unit step up right there. Okay, and that is F9. Okay, so we gotta scroll down here so y'all can see what I'm seeing. My filmatography kind of sucks. I apologize for that. There's 9, and F is going to probably be all the way to the top or right there. Bonus unit step up solenoid. And spin unit. What if I could see it? The spin unit 9th position. So when the spin relay energizes and that spin unit is the 9th position, Bonnie uses step up. So it's only the 9th position. It's not the 5th through the 9th position. So, okay. But that's how you can use these schematics. They're not, sometimes it's hard to find like a switch like that unless you know what it's being used for. You could search and search and search and search, and there's no key for this switch on here. There is a key for all the solenoids, but that's it. And you go over here, and you can find every coil on the playfield in the entire game, and it'll tell you where to look. The switches are not look like. You have to kind of know where to look. So without knowing what that thing does, it's very hard to find it. So I didn't want to mess with it. Now that I know what it does, I can find it and verify it. By the way, I told you Jane had done some of this work. She posted a picture on Facebook yesterday. I don't have the original photographs of what this looked like before, but I'm just gonna film a little bit. She did a fantastic job. I want to show a picture of her Facebook post because it's got the before and after. So here's her picture of that playfield before. And there's the after. You've seen the after. But, I mean, dramatic. By the way, if y'all want to see Jane do some touch-ups, post it down the bottom. She needs a little nagging. She's self-conscious of she's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm like, dude, if other people didn't know what they're doing, they'd be doing this themselves. Whoops. It's another picture she posted. But yeah, pretty fantastic. She still hasn't done the final gloss coat, but I mean, it's just world of different. This is like, ugh, ugly, don't want to play it, you know, don't want to show it off, and that's like pretty. So, pretty awesome. So I think all the functions are pretty much working. I haven't gone through the, I haven't checked the matches, but we did, well, we haven't gone through the score reels at all. So the match may not be working. We went through the match unit, but you know, on the score reels, there's all the little spider gears so that it knows what the score is to match up, or I'm sorry, for the high score, and also the match. So there's the one here with the little score reels. So that if that's a 10 and the match unit's a 10, the electricity goes through here and the match unit, and boom, it gives you the score. So if these aren't clean, you won't get the match. And then these first two, if it's like 98 and you've got it set for 98,000, then when it gets to 98, then you'll get the high score free game. So that's mostly dealing with the score reels. I haven't done anything there, but everything else seems to be working. A couple bulbs out. Haven't done anything with the bulbs yet. Usually do that after the playfield's done. Keep the old bulbs in the socket. Keeps the junk out of the sockets when you're working on the playfield. And so anyway, I think I'll end this video here. If you like the video, click like, click subscribe, and put a few comments for Jane to let me film her painting one of these up, because she really, I mean, this thing was pretty rough. She's not, and she's probably be, oh. So some of y'all probably wondering what this motor was doing. Well, it's running right now and it's spinning, but I mean, just the least little friction, just one finger, just kind of barely, and it's not moving. The motor's turning, you can hear it running. So if you kind of coax it, it'll go, but it doesn't have the power to spin this thing, and it's, I mean, just, oops, I guess that goes all the way in there. Put that back. I think when it goes, that's what it is. Well, even when I'm pulling out on it, it still kind of sticks. In, it really sticks. So I'm guessing the gears inside this thing are shot. I'm gonna, oh geez, get this out of here. Well, 2 screws there, that gets that plate off. And there's these wires, and there's wires for the motor, so that's actually made, well, yeah, it's gonna be a bear. Then you gotta drill out the rivets on the back of this plate, and then I get to the gears, and they're gonna be stripped, I already know that, so, fun. So I got the gear case out of there, left everything, didn't have to desolder anything, just unbolted everything. The motor goes right around the little stator there, and so I'm going to take this over the bench and take it apart. These things are riveted together. That's the back side of the rivet, so that's the front side. So I gotta get this off so I can drill that little lip out. So they're just these 4 screws. I'm gonna take those off real quick. Okay, so I got it pulled out now. So 1, 2, 3, 6 little rivets. So I'm going to get a drill bit and drill those out. You really want to use a drill bit that's considerably bigger, because you don't want to drill down through it. You want to just, essentially you want to just shave that top off. So you want a big wide bit, much wider than you might otherwise think, just to scrub that little lip off there. So I just got a drill bit and drilled those 6 lips off. So I'm gonna get a screwdriver. There's probably just a little bit of lip left. I'm gonna get a screwdriver and try to pry this plate apart. I could not get this pried apart, so I'm gonna go from the back side of that little divot, and I'm gonna drill through, because there's still continuous metal. I mean, it's been mashed pretty hard, so we got a small bit through the back. All right, so you can see, drilled those 6 holes through there, and so now hopefully I'm gonna be able to get some. I'm gonna need both hands. Hold on. That took a little persuasion, but I got it cracked open. I hammered with the red hammer onto the yellow one, and I got it open. So now it's gonna come apart for me, and hopefully it just throws gears all over the place.
So I just pried this thing apart. That just fell out. Didn't see where that went. Probably around that shaft there. Anyway, it's pretty dirty and nasty. It's hard to see what's going on because it's so filthy. I'm going to throw this in the ultrasonic and clean it all up. So I've got this thing cleaned up, put back together, get some glue on it. And the one part that is the problem, I believe, is this gear here doesn't always engage. But of course that little nub there sticking by my index finger that's kept from wiggling by that hole there. But if you see, it's wallered out. If you look really closely, you can see that this little shaft here doesn't look like it doesn't protrude, but about halfway up in there. So maybe it was kind of like a manufacturing error that that shaft is sticking. See on the back side, there's plenty sticking out on this side, but it was only halfway. You can see that. It's that one right there that my pinky's pointing at. It's sticking out 5/100ths of an inch or something like that, but it's not even through the plate on this side. See how that's wallered out? You look from the top, it looks fine. So, I mean, that's going to go either get a new plate, or maybe if I can get this off. I think it just pressed on there. If I can maybe just hammer that shaft down just a smidge so that it protrudes all the way through that plate, maybe I'll get another 30 years for the other half of that plate to wear out. I shouldn't say 30 years. Maybe how about another 50, 70,000 plays, which would be forever. So I'm going to try to just tap that down just ever so slightly. I'm assuming that's pressed. It looks like it's pressed in there. If not, it's motor shot either way. I don't think I'm going to get a case for it. Might be able to get the whole motor, but I'm going to try to tap that in there. Okay, y'all wish me luck. You know what? I'm gonna get a magic marker and mark it real. If I get a magic marker and mark that real well, so I can, if it moves, I can tell. Maybe I can. I almost thought it did move a little bit, but yeah, that black line. See that black line? I think maybe it moved. I'm gonna just go a little bit further, and then I'm gonna put it back together. Well, that one is, it makes a different sound. Yeah, it definitely moved that one. May have gone too far. I'm going to take it back to. So I've got this installed here, and you see on the back side, now it doesn't quite protrude. Now it's kind of like the other one was before. So I'm going to back that off just a smidge. Okay, so I snapped it back together. Still not riveted. That's the part. That's the edge that was only halfway through before. So I pushed through, and this is the one that was actually sticking up. It's slightly indented, so I don't have it quite in the middle, but actually that gear is up at the top, so this is the one that has the most torque on it. And you know, the other one, like I said, the other one lasts the first 50, 75,000 plays, not dollars, plays. That'll be good. So I put this gear in here, and it is working. I put a little resistance, and it's not slipping. Oops, I just lost my little washer there. So you can't really see the shaft movement. It is, but it is. It goes, it's like, I don't know, it's several hundred to one or something like that. It just barely moves. So I'm going to put this thing all back together and throw it in the machine and see if it works. Well, I'll be real happy if it's all good. So I guess one other thing I'm going to have to do, I'm going to drill these out to an 1/8 of an inch because I've got 1/8 inch rivets, and rivet that. It's always good, you know. I didn't think there'd be much hope in me fixing this without getting some, at least maybe calling up Steve and getting the gears. Or Steve rebuilds these also, so I think
in a lot of cases, he'd rather just dig through his bin of gears and do it himself than trying to figure out what parts needs to send you that are $1 a piece. I don't know. I've sent motors to him before, like on a pitching bat, and for like $100, it'll come back and it'll be pitching great. I haven't asked him to look up numbers. This parts for something like this probably got a cast number on it. Steve has access to all kinds of catalogs. He's really good at finding the numbers when you don't have one. Anyway, he doesn't like it when you put some effort to try to find it first, though. I will say that. Like I said, I'm gonna put this back together, throw it in the game, and hopefully it works. So I just use a regular old rivet gun and little blind rivets, pop rivets if you like, and they go in pretty simple. So I got this all put back together. It's not mounted in the bottom. I'm going to see if it's working first. So I'll boot this game up. Start a game. It should start running. It's running. And we have animation. Let's hit a target. 1, 2. That's good. 154. All right. It seems to be open the gate. So that's lit. So I assume there's a gate. Yeah, it's all taken apart. Let's see if this one works. 1, 2, 4. Hey, cool. Let's just see what this thing looks like when it's down. So what happens is that the motor keeps going. It's just the clutch. No, it doesn't keep going. So the motor disengages. You can see right there. Down there, see the little, I don't know if you can see down the little spindle. It does turn off. But it's got the clutch, gives it a little momentary slip so it can stop immediately because there's, a little bit of momentum. So that's good. Okay, so I think wow, got lucky on that one. It wasn't a burn up gear. It was just that case had the little kind of notch in it, and there was a little bit of case left, so it was fixable. So that was a kind of a lucky one. So anyway, I'll say goodbye again. No doggies. What do y'all want to say? Do y'all have anything to say to them? I don't even know where the other one's at. Oh, you kicked him out. Yeah. That's what happens when you're the big dog. When you're the big dog, you get the big bed.